everybody. My name is William Xu. I'm from Pfizer Digital Innovation Lab, and I lead DIL's initiatives in China and across APAC. I'm absolutely honored to be here today to share with you some of the really exciting work that Pfizer has been carrying out in a country like the Philippines, as well as across the region by means of open innovation. First of all, I want to highlight the fact that open innovation is not a universal concept. As a matter of fact, every single one of us, every organization will probably have a different understanding and concept and definition about it. But at Pfizer, we believe that open innovation is the result of three integral elements together. That being creation, adoption, and collaboration in and outside Pfizer. And at Pfizer, at Digital Innovation Lab, we are a specialized team in formulating open innovation strategies and practicing it, putting it into implementation in order to benefit our patients as well as healthcare professionals. So really, we're not just serving the need of Pfizer as a whole, but really we want to bridge the gap between Pfizer and the entire ecosystem at various regions. So in short, we are adopting this inside out as well as outside in approach when it comes to understanding and refining the pain points, the problems that we are currently facing in healthcare as a whole, and also at the same time, we want to test different ideas by means of trials, pilots, and experiments, and then see whether we're building something digitally fit for purpose and that can be scaled sometime later on. So DIL's capabilities can really largely be described into three major components. First of all, we sense and scan the market. We are the go-to team when it comes to understanding about emerging technology, as well as the high-tech landscape across the world, be that in health tech or otherwise. Secondly, knowing what's out there, knowing what the trends are only 1/3 of the equation. What we need to do is to test those ideas, create a use case around it, and then accelerate and incubate those opportunities, and then make sure that whatever that we're building, the solution is going to fundamentally solve the problems that our patients as well as HCPs are faced with, and in turn, will become part of the commercially viable business model of Pfizer. And last but not least, healthcare is not a Pfizer issue, is not an industry issue. As a matter of fact, it's a societal problem. So it's a problem that is big enough and it's too big for every single one party to solve. So we want to bring everyone together by creating this open platform where we can share our synergy as well as communication ideas and solution development methodologies and strategies. So sensing and scanning, opportunity incubation, and ecosystem engagement are what we do and what we're good at. So I wanted to share with you some of the real examples of open innovation projects that Pfizer had been carrying out and across APAC, starting from the Philippines. Well, a couple of years ago, we partnered with We Robotics to use drones to deliver medical supplies as well as different medicines and services to the very rural parts of Dominican Republic. It was a huge success, and we wanted to replicate this model at a place like the Philippines, where there are hundreds, if not thousands, of islands throughout the entire country where people are faced with accessibility issues. So we want to utilize this kind of technology and then bring down the barrier of care accessibility for Filipino population. So right now we are working with We Robotics again and Flying Labs, and we had endorsement from the Filipino government, and also with strong support from our strategic partner SIDP Consulting, and we are really driving this project forward. And as you can see, some of those photos in high-tech drones in carrying the essential medical supplies to rural populations, and you can also see and our on-the-ground team leader Ken, who's spearheading this project and within the country. And secondly, I want to introduce to you the China Vaccine Open Innovation Challenge we launched earlier this year. Even though China is in so many ways quite far advanced when it comes to digital transformation, but vaccine is a very conservative and some would say a laggard sector that's waiting to be transformed. So from our point of view, there are three major problems that we need to overcome in vaccine in China. Number one is the awareness. Right. And secondly is how do we sustain this kind of awareness? Right. Educating people is one thing, and continuing to have them have this kind of level of consciousness is quite different. And number three is that vaccine, unlike many other types of care and medical products, and that in China that you have to go to a POV, the point of vaccination, in order for this kind of service, this kind of care to be provided. So we have very limited knowledge about the operating environment that the POV HCPs are currently operating in. So how can we get closer to those care providers and making sure that we understand their pain points, how to communicate with them effectively. So these are the three major challenges that we set up to overcome. And we partnered with China Accelerator and a venture capitalist / accelerator, as well as Plug and Play, and in creating this open innovation platform in China. So that was the first ever externally facing open innovation challenge that Pfizer China had ever done. So it was a giant quantum leap forward. We launched this challenge in April. It was heavily supported by the business units as well as the national leadership. We started with a database of thousands of potentially suitable startups around the world, and then by means of filtering and selecting through them methodically as well as consistently, and in the end in July, and we picked about a dozen and high performing startups to come and pitch to us and their groundbreaking solutions. And right now we're working with 3 of them and on pilot programs in really co-developing those vaccine problem-solving solutions and making sure that they can be implemented and scaled up sometime down the line. So as you can see, it's an end-to-end experiment, testing and delivery process that we're pushing open innovation to its very limit. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're really good at. And number 3, that's also worth mentioning, is the Healthcare FinTech Alliance Open Innovation Challenge. We launched that last year in order to solve the patient accessibility and affordability problems in some of the developing economies across emerging markets Asia. Right, so we formed partnership with FinTech Academy, Alibaba Cloud, and a number of others in order to tackle those issues. Similarly, I won't go into all the detail, but having followed the same methodology, we have identified a number of opportunities that they can potentially have a long-term economic as well as practical implications in transforming our patients' lives. So in the end, I want to reiterate that innovation is a combination of co-creation, adoption, and collaboration. And I would like to remind everyone that open innovation is not actually something new. It's a concept that first came out in the 60s, but really when it comes to executing open innovation, and we still have a lot to learn, and Pfizer being at the very forefront of that. So we want to continue driving this kind of strategy in order to make sure that we are delivering breakthrough that can ultimately change our patients' lives. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.